Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2 of On the Avenue. For those who may be viewing for the very first time, I'm your host, Audrey Marie Cosby, and I am so glad that you have tuned in today because we have a lot to discuss. Haven't spoken to you all since last year. Happy New Year. Aren't you glad that 2020 is now a thing of the past? Unfortunately, though, when the clock struck midnight, COVID-19 did not magically disappear, as many of us would have liked. But I'm still holding out hope for a much better 2021. Admittedly, it has been quite the emotional roller coaster already. We started the year with the Daniel fast, and I hope that everyone who participated was strengthened and able to reap the benefits of fasting, especially as it relates to hearing from the Lord and having your prayers answered. We also watched and celebrated when Georgia flipped the Senate as they elected Senator Jon Ossoff and Senator Reverend Dr. Raphael Warnock. But in the midst of the celebration, not even a full week into the year, we witnessed a deadly, horrendous insurrection as a violent mob illegally stormed the U.S. Capitol, destroying property, putting lives at risk, and stealing confidential documents, all because their president was defeated. Wheeler Avenue responded with an impromptu prayer session for our country, led by the staff clergy and ministers of our church. After that, Donald J. Trump made history by becoming the first president to be impeached twice, and he wasn't even able to tweet his frustrations because Twitter, along with many other social media platforms, suspended his accounts. But as we say in the church, trouble don't last always. And on Wednesday, January 20th, Joseph R. Biden Jr. was inaugurated as our 46th president of the United States. And we now have the first African-American female vice president in the person of Kamala Harris. I don't know about you all, but I am hoping for great things to come as a result of their being in office. It's Black History Month. You all know we celebrate beautiful, brilliant Blackness on the Avenue every single day. But each February, we go above and beyond to highlight Black stories and accomplishments in our nation and in our congregation. This year is no different. The national theme for Black History Month 2021 is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. So this month, we will be giving you all Black love on the Avenue as we hear from various couples in our congregation who are all in different stages of their marriages. You'll hear from newlyweds, widowers, young couples, seasoned couples, blended families, and even some of the leadership of our church. Let's hear from some of them now. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Harris. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. So happy 1-month anniversary and happy birthday to you. Congratulations. You all have a lot to celebrate today, but you all have a very interesting love story. So can you share a little bit about that with us?
Sure. Would you like to start?
You got it.
Okay. Well, we actually met on a social media app called MySpace, which is very outdated today. But this special young man was on my page one day and thought I was cute. And he sent me a now DM, but a direct message. And we exchanged phone numbers. And that was...
You asked me for my number. And I told you...
I don't remember that, but okay.
And I said I needed time to think about it because I had
Okay.
to pray about it and make sure you're the one for me.
Yes,
And so
of course.
after consideration, I gave him my number, and we talked for hours on the phone about life and who we are, who we wanted to be, and as they say, the rest was history.
But while talking for hours, we discovered that our parents actually knew each other, and our mothers were pregnant together at work. They had their work baby shower together. Yes. They also spent time socially at each other's houses after we were born, and we were both there.
It was arranged.
It was definitely
Right,
That's how I
arranged
feel.
So
That's how
your
it
love
feels.
story started before it even started. You guys
Yes.
had no clue. That's beautiful.
Yes.
So fast forward to way past the MySpace DMs and all of that. You guys, we've seen some very creative weddings during this pandemic, and you all started at the beginning of the year of 2021. Tell us about your wedding. How was that during, what precautions did you all take, and how did you guys navigate marriage during the pandemic?
Yes. Well, of course, when we got engaged, we never imagined that COVID was going to take over, but we always knew that we wanted to have a big wedding. So when the whole COVID ordeal did come, it was really tough decision initially if we were going to move forward with the wedding or not, and we decided to do so. Our biggest precaution that we felt we could control was making masks mandatory. We implemented temperature checks at the door and ensured that we remained under the capacity that the venue allowed, which we were successfully able to do. To this day, we haven't heard of anyone who's been sick or any bad news, and so that makes us very happy, but we were very, very nervous. A lot of the older guests, they, weren't able to make it, which I prefer safety over everything, so that was understood. But other than that, because his grandmother wasn't able to make it due to COVID, which we, of course, wish she could have been there, but overall, I'm just happy everybody was safe.
That's good. So, this has been a big period of adjustment for everyone.
Yes.
But what has been the biggest adjustment for you, if anything, since you've been married?
I'll let you start.
Well, there were no real big adjustments for myself, other than being identified as a married man. Other than that, same thing, keeping the same thing, keeping the main thing. The main thing was for myself.
For me, I mean, we've been dating a long time, so it was not a major adjustment. But as far as things like income and, of course, joining finances and ensuring that we got our individual finances together so that as one, we can become homeowners and things like that.
And your last name?
And my last name, that's been a major adjustment.
Really?
For me to remember that I was like, what? Oh yeah, Harris, right. But other than that, like our social life, we have a lot of mutual friends, so that hasn't been a major issue. As far as our families, that is something that we are working on. Seeing his family as my own and my family as his and things like that, and it's how we're going to do holidays and things like that.
But we're fortunate enough that our families kind of, her family likes me and mine likes hers,
Yes,
and they were
yes.
already familiar with each other. So
Yes.
That's what I was going to ask about, being that, your families were already close. What was their reaction when you guys told them, like, hey, we're dating?
Oh, when they found out we were dating, her mom's reaction was extremely surprised. My mom was freaked out as well because we found each other. And then once we mentioned names and, such and such, I have a family member, name is Erica Badu, and I told Eboni that was my cousin, and her mom was, oh man, I have a coworker I used to work with years ago.
That's how we found out.
Whose cousin was Erica Badu, and she's like, I can't remember her name, and oh yeah, Karen, and I was like, that's my mom. Karen is my mom. So, yeah, we go way back, way.
I don't think anybody was surprised that we were getting married. It was more like, when is this gonna happen? So everyone was really happy.
So if you could describe the last month of your lives in one word, what would it be and why?
I will say refreshing. And because, well, more than anything, I've always wanted us to just live a righteous life and do this the right way. And now that we are, and so many people, especially since the wedding, have reached out and said, oh, y'all inspire me. Oh, young love is still possible. Oh, this is Black excellence, especially in this generation where it's just things are not the same in the dating realm. So it's been just from the outreach of family, of friends, and just us, setting example for God, and just it just feels really refreshing for me.
Refreshing.
And of course,
For sure.
Refreshing.
For sure, refreshing.
yes, yes. We've both been saying that same word since we've been married. So, yeah.
That's good. Well, congratulations on your marriage. I'm so happy
Thank
for the
you.
two of you, and
Thank
wishing
you.
you guys a lifetime of love and happiness and marital bliss. So
Thank
you for coming
you.
and speaking with us today.
Thank you so much.
Hi, you guys. Thank you both for joining us, logging on this evening. How are y'all?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're great. We're great. We're happy to be on, and just we feel good to be in the midst of this Black love.
Good. Well, you look good, both of you. So it's been almost 6 months of marriage now. Can you believe that it has been half a year already?
No,
No.
not at all.
Really
Not at
flying.
all.
So first of all, you guys had such a beautiful celebration, but so much has happened in your lives since then. So I want to briefly go back to the beginning, first of all, and talk about how this love story even began. Go ahead, take it away.
Ryan, what do you?
Okay. Well, we met at Wheeler Bible study, a youth Bible study, and we met because I was actually transferring to Yates, and so a lot of people were telling me, well, if you want to know like how to get involved or just what to do on the campus, like you should speak to Titus. And so we spoke after Bible study and kind of exchanged numbers. We were friends for a while, and we actually didn't start dating until Titus went to Prairie View. So it was almost like a year and a half later. And then once he got there, we started talking, and we've just been dating ever since.
Nice.
So
Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The remix to that is Titus shot his shot at Ryan one night at youth Bible study, and I said a line. What did I say?
I actually came in late for that Bible study, and so I ended up there. Only was a spot next to Titus, and so I sat next to Titus, and he introduced himself, and he's like, "Hi, my name is Titus Bryant, and I think you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen."
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like in shock, like the whole time during Bible study, I'd never heard someone introduce themselves like that. So that's how he introduced himself to me.
So you knew from the beginning what you wanted. You had your eyes on the prize.
My eyes was on the prize, but I guess the prize, wasn't ready for me yet because she curved the brother at the time. But things came together for our good. So look, we're here now.
Worked out. So I love hearing stories of couples who met and fell in love right here on the avenue. To my knowledge, you two are the youngest married couple in the church. And since you two have gotten married, you've had to learn so much already, not just about merging your lives, but you also have a baby on the way. And you recently moved to a new state. You both are away from your families in a way that you've never been before during such a major moment in your lives. Is that scary? Is it exciting? Talk a little bit about how much your lives have changed.
So for me, the moving part initially was scary. I've never been that far away from family. I went to Prairie View, which is only 45 minutes away. So I knew I was always close to home. And so I think that was a big adjustment to me. But I think that it's been beneficial, and it will be beneficial for me and Titus to just grow individually and collectively, and to just kind of learn and branch out from our families. So it's good.
That's good. What about you, Titus?
I say it's very scary. I feel like it's one of the most scary things we're doing together, and one of the most scary things I've done in my life, and just because of the whole, gamut of it all, having a young life on the way, and also being newlyweds. So like we in my head, I'm like, we don't have a bunch of this stuff even figured out, and yet we're taking this leap that goes across the country. And of course, we love Houston, we love Third Ward, and we we are getting out of our comfort zone, and that can be really scary. But we're hoping that it's one of the best decisions that we could have made.
That's great. So is this a temporary move, or will you be calling Washington, D.C. home?
We are just letting God lead us. We're here right now and just kind of open to whatever happens.
Right. Adrian, we've literally had this conversation probably every single day, like from the point when we start discussing moving to DC. And for me, I'm like, literally, whatever God says. Of course, Houston has a specific place, a special place in our heart, in my mind, in my vision board, our vision board. Of course, like after I walk across the graduation for seminary, hopefully we're able to come back to Houston because we love it so much. But at the same time, that old saying that says, let God laughs at our plans. So we take that and try to have the most open mind to whatever God has for our life.
Good. Well, I'm wishing you the best in that regard, both of you guys, you and your family. We've already heard from two special couples, and now we have another very special couple we'd like to present to you, whose love story began on the south side of Chicago while attending Emmanuel Baptist Church, 8301 South Damon Avenue, 60620, where the Reverend L.K. Curry was their pastor. This third and final couple needs no further introduction. They are the Reverend Dr. Marcus C. Cosby and Mrs. Audrey Marie Cosby, the senior pastor and first lady of the Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. Let's hear what they have to share. Well, welcome to Bring Your Parents to Work Day. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. Well. Thank you.
Good. So you two have a love story that spans over 30 years. How did it begin?
He stalked me.
I was going to say the same. She stalked me in church. We grew up at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Chicago, Illinois, and from our days in the children's choir, through the youth choir, then off to college, and now into our married life. We've been together all these years.
Interesting. Well, I want to talk about longevity and long distance because you two remained an item while in separate states through college. You didn't have FaceTime, you didn't have text messages. So tell me about those years and how it even prepared your lives for today.
Wow. It began with writing letters. I still have some letters that he wrote me while we were in college. He was a great writer, and I will cherish those letters. So we did a lot of letter writing. We called quite a bit. We snuck a visit in every now and then. Fortunately, because we were from the same hometown, we were able to see each other during our extended breaks, during the holidays, every holiday, and the summer times were great. We had a lot of fun spending time together in the summers.
Agreed.
And we started out as friends.
Absolutely.
I think that would be the key to our longevity, is our friendship.
And I'm going to talk about that friendship later, but this is the longest amount of time that you've been together consecutively ever. And your quarantine even started before ours did because back in January of 2020. So how has that been, and what are some of the benefits that you've experienced as a result of this season we're in?
Wow, I feel like God has given us an opportunity to reclaim some time. We often envied families that had weekends because we didn't get to have weekends like normal families do. So now we're getting to enjoy some weekend times and doing what other people do on Sundays after church. You know, if it's walking in the park, if it's swimming, whatever it is, we get to do it now. It's been great.
Yeah, the travel schedule that I had would always interfere with, just straight family time. I don't have a 9 to 5, never have had a 9 to 5, so I don't leave in the morning, come back in the evening. And so that has always disrupted family time and time with my wife, just enjoying downtime, enjoying some free time. As she said, there's no such thing as a weekend in our house.
Right.
I work weekends. So Saturday nights, there's no such thing as me hanging out with the family because we're getting consecrated for Sunday. So those have always been, a little snags in the reality of usual family life. But since we've been quarantined, since we've been in downtime, I got back to Houston January 31st of 2020, and I haven't left Houston since. I've never been in any city that long in my life. So it's been real cool. It's been real cool to be at home, to enjoy what normal people get to enjoy most of the time.
One thing that I find fascinating about the two of you is your friendship, like you mentioned earlier, and y'all kick it. So how important is it to have that foundation of friendship in a marriage? And talk to us a little bit about your friendship.
Folks often ask that same question, and I tell them, stop looking for love and all that other stuff. Establish a friendship. A friendship with someone that you love can really help sustain the test of time. And there will be some tests, there'll be some trials. But if you have a friendship and mutual respect for one another, you're able to just weather any storm in life. We have a great time together. We laugh a lot. We can't sit together in church because we get a little too silly because we enjoy life. We enjoy laughing, and we have a lot of things that we like to do together in addition to going to church.
So what are some of those things?
Okay, so we love movies. We definitely enjoy movies. I prefer them in the daytime. Someone else likes them at night.
Why? Why is that?
Because I get a little sleepy.
Because you go to sleep in all the movies, exactly.
When I wake up. We both enjoy the arts. Definitely, we have love for the theater, for music. So that we have those things in common, and we enjoy seeing shows together.
I want to go back to that laughter piece, because that's one of the things that keeps us going, is that we always find ways to laugh about things, and we find reasons to laugh and stay a little more lighthearted. We have serious lives. Life is a serious thing, and so you need to find moments where levity breaks in and you have a good time and enjoying life and laughing about the silly things, laughing about each other, laughing about what's happening in the world, taking time in the middle of worship to look over and find something funny going on in church and laugh about it. I take great joy in finding something happening in church and then looking over at her. Well, she's way over there, I'm way up here, and we laugh about it in church. I try to make her laugh while church is going on. That's a good thing to do.
You do a great job.
Thank you very much.
Well, as your family started to grow, did parenting have a drastic effect on the marriage, or was it just pretty easy for you all to adjust?
Great question.
Yeah.
I think we adjusted well to parenthood because it was something we both wanted. We knew we wanted a big family, and we knew how we wanted our family structure to look. So he knew that, we knew that I would stay home with you all and rear you all. So it's gone pretty well for us.
And we had that break. So we had, the trial period with you and your sister. So there was the two of you. You know, for those who don't know, I like to call our children the early church. That's the old people, and the Latter-day Saints. That's the three young people. And so we have these 20-something-year-old children, and then all these who are teenagers or heading into teenage years. And so it was a big break for us. My thing is, you have as many children as you can afford. We could afford the two of you when I was the associate pastor. Life got better when I became the senior pastor, and we had a few more children. And so
Gotten really good.
life is good. And so we're able to enjoy the wonderful gifts of our children. And we do believe you all are gifts. And so we're grateful that God has blessed us with the five of you.
Yeah, we not only love you all, we like our children. They're fun. They're fun and funny.
Y'all are okay too.
Thank you so much.
What are some of the ways that you've tried to model what a healthy relationship looks like to your children?
I would say one of those would be to have adult conversation remain adult conversation. There are some things that parents will need to discuss, but they don't need to discuss them in front of children. Trying to control some of our reactions to situations in front of our children has been one of those ways. We vowed never to argue in front of our children. And some people think that our children are not telling the truth when they say they've never seen their parents argue, because we don't argue. Well, we don't even argue. We don't argue in front of them. We really don't argue. We have some good discussions, though, don't we?
Lively discussions.
Lively.
Yes.
Great fellowship.
Great fellowship, yes.
But that would be one thing, is definitely to not argue in front of your children and keep adult conversation.
In the adult space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do you handle those disagreements when they come?
We talk it out. I mean, we work it out. It doesn't, it's never been a quick fix. No, that's not true. Some things are resolved faster than others. Other things, it's a process. It takes a little time. It takes some healing. We talk through some things. We have to go in our prayer closets, sometimes alone, sometimes together. One thing I remember he said to me long time ago, because he is my pastor too. It's kind of strange when you're trying to have an argument with your pastor. But anyway, he said to me, how we talk to each other in a situation will make a difference in the outcome of the situation. And that's one of the things that's really stuck with me, because you cannot talk. Can't get my words out. It's a certain way you have to communicate with each other. Mm-hmm. And you have to always maintain respect, because words have a lasting effect. And you won't remember what you're arguing about, but you will remember what the person said in the argument, and it's going to hurt.
Great answer.
Another thing we always say, don't act like me when I'm acting like me.
Yes. Expound on that, please.
I'd rather not. Okay, so I'm the calm one in the family. Okay, JK. So I'm actually the one that's a little more high-strung, and, I get a little lively. And my beloved husband, he's a little more calm, and he doesn't, raise his voice or anything. But every now and then, something may cause him to rise up a little bit. And I have to remind him, hey, you can't act like me when I'm acting like me. That's not going to work.
Agreed.
So we both, and I say that jokingly, but realistically, we cannot both be combative with each other. It's just not going to work. No one's going to get hurt.
Great.
Well, finally, think about every season of your marriage from back in those childhood years until now, and what would you say has been the highlight of your journey so far?
Wow. The five of you? Yeah, the five of you are a blessing. We're grateful that we're the parents of children who've never given us any trouble, never given us any problems. The challenges that we've had have had to do with sickness. You had some sickness when you were a child. Matthew's had some sickness. Marcus had some sickness when he was young. So those have been the only challenges that we've had with you all, and those have been a gift of grace that we've been able to overcome it. So we've not had to worry with you all, and we're grateful for that. So I think that's been the highlight for me. That would be my answer, the highlight of our marriage.
Definitely
Yeah.
would say you all.
Awesome. Well, that's
Definitely.
well, thank you all for coming and talking about Black love with us
Now, I
today.
want you to notice, because I know you're about to close, but I
Okay.
want you to notice that although people think I'm the most talkative person in the Cosby family, it is quite clear since this interview has been held that I am not the most talkative person in the Cosby family. But these two ladies with whom I'm sitting right now are most gregarious, and I thank God for the way that they
Some
share
lively
with us.
conversations.
Lively discussions, absolutely. Thank you.
Giving us a voice too.
Amen. And use it.
Mike.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Reverend David Moore of the Wheeler Avenue Marriage Ministry. I'm here sharing this moment with my wife of 46 years, Janelle Bryant Moore. We're excited to be a part of the Black Love emphasis for the month of February, the year 2021. We're positioned here tonight to share with you some questions that have come to us from the couples that we're involved with regarding the concerns for marriage. We'll present these questions and do our best to give our best answer based on our experience. We're excited about the opportunity to share with you and pray that you receive and that we're all blessed in this journey called covenant marriage.
There's a two-part question. What are some techniques or suggestions you have for keeping the lines of communication open in marriage?
So I would venture to say that the best thing you can do is follow the admonition of James 1:19. Be quick to listen, be slow to speak, and be slow to anger. If you choose to do that, you'll find yourself avoiding a lot of the conflict that would otherwise arise as issues do come or presented to each other, to the two of you.
And how do I get him to talk about how he feels, particularly for spouses that may struggle with talking about their feelings? And I'd like to answer that. I think as women, we have more of a tendency to talk about our feelings. So if we make a point to do that with our spouses, I think it will give them the opportunity to reciprocate with that. But if we don't take anything to them, we can't expect them to bring anything to us.
I'll have to add a note to that. This is all about attitude. We've said it 1,000 times in the marriage ministry efforts in marriage enrichment. It's all about how you ask the question. So tone and approach and attitude is central to how anyone responds. And most men are slow, we're quick to anger, depending on how we are asked.
Question 2.
Question number 2. What has been the most significant challenge in your marriage and how did you overcome it?
I think we have different points of view on that. But mine has been, we found that as, and Reverend Lawson said it to us once, you're a lot alike. Even though you don't think you are, you are. So I think we've had to find our similarities and our differences. And we've had to learn to talk through the differences, but we've always talked through the differences and presented them. And as I've told many couples in the past, your spouse should be your best friend. So you should be able to have a conversation with them and work through any situation.
Yeah, I think I want to add this note. The greatest thing that we've learned is patience. You really have to have all of the fruit of the Spirit as a part of the dynamic of marriage. Love and joy and peace are wonderful, but patience really is a great gift, and it will carry you through a number of the issues that you're going to deal with. And patience basically says, peace. It's the most valuable thing you can strive for in the context of your marriage.
And I think the difference is many people want their own peace, but I think their spouse's peace is important as well.
Absolutely.
So as each of you look to the other for peace, then I think that helps the process. But we have worked through because we have been committed to our marriage, and so we know at the end of the day, God, if we seek him, we'll get through it.
I just want to share this one little story. For years, I prayed, Lord, give me peace. Lord, give me peace. And one day, God spoke into my spirit, and he said, what about her peace? So to Kay's point, patience, peace, those are the most valuable gifts you're going to have, the most valuable assets you'll have as you move through these issues of life as under the covenant of marriage as husband and wife.
Love is certainly in the air. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you did, tune in next week, same time, same place, because we've got a lot in store for you this season. We'd like to send a special thank you to the Harrises, the Bryants, and the Cosbys for joining us. As always, please, please, please do your very best to stay at home as much as possible and encourage others to do the same. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and stay at least 6 feet away from people who do not live in your household. We have a very beautiful cathedral that is awaiting our arrival, but we will not be able to worship together in person anytime soon if we do not maintain discipline during this season. Please remember, even though we can't be together physically, you're still on the avenue.